Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at the Clorox company. This was a stock analysis request from one of the followers, and I wanted to let you know that anyone can make these requests and I'll most likely cover them, especially if there is an actionable trade setup to follow. And in the case of this chart, we have an interesting structure going on, even quite bullish overall. But unfortunately, we cannot really track a more direct extension within this area, within an internal structure to the upside here, where, to be honest, we would have maybe even been able to form a larger 5-wave move to the upside within a wave 3, only if we did manage to hold here an internal area of support for a wave 4 correction. But since we have already failed to hold the 50% retracement, we need to have a larger outlook on this chart, and within this structure to the upside, I am still looking here for an overall 1-2 and a very strong and large third wave to still be forming. And this would be even within the outlook of an overall impulse, because, to be honest, if we already formed a more significant top within the wave 3 here, we should expect a larger leading diagonal rather than an actual impulse to have formed within this area. But right now we can still work within such an interpretation that allows extensions higher within an internal, a larger wave 3 to the upside. And in this case, I am tracking here a couple of ideas. So firstly, I would consider something like a 1-2 and a third wave up to have formed a more significant top, and now we would expect a larger correction within the wave 4. And already we can tell that this wave 4 is becoming quite large, and we may need to come to grasp with the possibility of having the overall wave 3 top already in place. This is something we need to deal with, but from a support area perspective. If we are tracking the count that we have here on the chart, it has barely only gotten to the first level of support within this retracement, within this expected correction at around the $100 level, and the overall area even extends all the way down to the $37.6 level, and realistically only a break above that can fully remove and invalidate the possibility of a correction within the wave 4 to form in this structure. And indeed, there are some structures developments that could suggest to us that we should focus on other interpretations even before breaking here the actual area of support that may have a slightly overlapping area of support. But right now, I think what we can focus on is quite safely this interpretation where we would have this larger correction within the wave 4. Now, in this area within the wave 4 correction, I am at the moment tracking something like an ABC movement to be developing, where within the wave C, I am tracking a 5-wave move to the downside. And since we already have the wave A bottom and the wave B top, we can even look for an ideal target for such an extension, although we will get more information if we look internally for the structure to actually be developing. Now, so far we have the 100% extension at the $83 level, which is the ideal target from the ABC perspective. And if we look internally within this area, I do actually prefer further continuation to the downside within this wave C, as I am tracking here something like an ending diagonal, where right now I would expect this wave 3 still to extend further. And in this structure, since it is an ending diagonal, I am tracking this movement as something like an ABC structure, maybe where the wave A could have bottomed here. Doesn't necessarily matter too much. We may get one more or less lows based on the actual interpretation, but within this wave C to the downside at the moment, we can even track an idea of an impulse to be forming, and I wouldn't necessarily consider it complete either. And sure, we can even add such a count here for this structure to the downside. And within an internal wave C, we are actually still expecting to form an overall 5-wave move. And in this case, I would still be looking here for something like a 1-2 and a third, a fourth, and a fifth. Now, I won't be looking internally within this wave 3 as well, but I would expect it to extend as well, even further. And once this is complete, I would like to see a wave 4 correction and still a 5th wave to complete the larger wave C and the larger wave 3. Once this is done, we would be looking for another larger correction within the wave 4 and then a 5th wave to the downside, which could very easily actually get us into around the ideal target for the overall wave C, as we mentioned earlier, the $83 level. Now, what we would like to see if we have a more significant bottom already in place would be here a break above the 50% retracement, which would be the last level of resistance for this correction within the wave 4, which is at the $111 level. Yeah, if we break above the 50% retracement here, it would be a signal that we would be at least within a different structure, but even possibly that we have formed a more significant low within this push to the downside. We may have formed even a more significant bottom within this wave 3, where, yeah, honestly, this wave B could have topped here, as I mentioned a moment ago, and then the wave C could be complete, and we could be looking for the large retracement within the wave 4. Now, I can give you even that target, but I will, or not target, the area of resistance for the larger wave 4, but I will only leave here the 61.8% retracement, as now we are focusing on the smaller time frame resistance area. And if we manage to see here even a break above the 61.8% retracement for this large correction within the wave 4, which is now based on the assumption that we have bottomed within the wave 3. If we extend lower within the wave 3, this area of resistance, this level of resistance will need to come down as well. But assuming there is a more significant bottom and we want to see a possible breakout, we would need to see a break above the $131.4 level. That would signify to us that this overall structure to the downside is likely expected to be complete, which technically is possible. Yeah, there is no problem with having an early bottom, even from a large time frame perspective, as we have already managed to get to our area of support, and a fifth wave to the upside could be imminent, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend to look for a position just yet. Maybe some accumulation since we are in the larger area of support, but the count at the downside doesn't necessarily show us that it is full. We don't have a clear signal that we have bottomed, and we don't have a confirmation, which would be an initial 5-wave move to the upside on a smaller time frame. That would be a signal to us that we should be looking at least for another 5-wave move to the upside once the correction after the initial one is done. And for now, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.